مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفوته من خلقه وحبيبه قد بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وجاهد في سبيل دينه حتى أتاه اليقين. فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جازيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم أحينا على سنته وأمتنا على ملته واحشرنا تحت لوائه وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. Brothers and sisters, this will be the last and concluding session on the topic of the treatment of Islam for the disease of racism and bigotry. Last time we discussed how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in very clear words that we are all created from one soul. We explained in details the implications of coming from one soul. Today we're going through some ayat in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in addition to all of what we mentioned before, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in this ayat that we are also created into two types. We are all humans, we mentioned that before, right? We all come from dust. We are all one and the same species, if you will. But here Allah is saying that He has created us from males and females. We know that part of the discrimination and bigotry that we have is sexual discrimination, meaning discrimination against the opposite sex. Okay? And there are side issues relating to this, but I'm not going to go into those side issues related to sex discrimination. But I want to focus on what the Quran teaches, because this is where our linchpin is. This is the center of knowledge and information and guidance for all of us. So in Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ ذَكَرٍ وَأُنْثَى. You see, when an inventor or someone produces a product, they deliberately do it in certain ways because this is how it functions. So Allah created the human species as humans, but He created us in two types, or two sexes, if you will, which basically is pointing to the fact that we are two types so that we can produce the next generation, so that we can cooperate, so that we can connect with each other, so that we can love and respect and help each other. So the creation of a male and a female in the form of humans, or the creation of humans in the forms of a male and a female, is both deliberate and functional. It relates to our functions as humans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, هو الذي أنشأكم من الأرض واستعمركم فيها. It is He who has grown you up or raised you up from the earth. And استعمركم فيها, He entrusted you to develop it, to make it a better place for the next generation. So both men and women are entrusted with this task. Yes, every side has their own functions, but they must live together to complement each other and support each other. So looking down by any side to the other, condescending approach to this type of rather divinely designed relationship is out of line Islamically. Men should never stereotype women. Women should never stereotype men, even though there is a lot to stereotype. But that's not the way Islam works. Islam works that, and this is the ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. So the ultimate purpose for creating us both as males and females, and also as peoples and tribes, the purpose is not لتعرفوا, لتعارفوا, so that I seek to know you and you seek to know me. What is the purpose of knowledge? The purpose of knowledge is to understand each other, so that when we cooperate, we are effective. So that when we live together, we are merciful to each other. So that when we get strained in our relationship, we know how to exit that deadlock. So the purpose of ta'arafu is to get to discover the positives and the negatives, the possible and the impossible with your spouse. So don't dig your head in the wall wanting to change your spouse 180 degrees. It's not gonna work. And that's why last time I said, when you get to marry, don't marry based on hopes that change will happen. If you're looking for someone that is dressed in hijab, don't get engaged to one who is not. If you look for someone who does not smoke, don't accept anyone who smokes, period. So those limits ought to be observed before the marriage, not enforced after the marriage. The most difficulties that we face is we love first and then marry next, but the choice is what you love is what you get. The choice should be is you get only what you want. Don't accept what you don't want. Don't marry someone who doesn't dress hijab and then say, maybe because her sister has hijab, she will dress hijab one day. Don't take these promises. Maybe he will quit smoking. So لِتَعَارَفُوا is a key word to get to know each other, so that when you get together, there is more acceptable than rejectable. So this is a key in our choices and a key to our success inside the marriage. So Allah deliberately created us as males and females. It is not the subject, but I will say it in passing because nowadays we have people who don't claim to be males or females, the Hermaphrodites and the bisexuals and transgenders and all of this. That's not the topic I want to focus on. But I will tell you something very simple. Islam recognizes the person for the physical medical definitions that we have got to know since Abu Qurayt until today. Abu Qurayt is the father of medicine, right? Which is, if a person is born with male sexual organs that are clear, he is to be defined as a male. That's the creation. So the creation goes to the physical structure, not to the sensual feeling or to the psychological feeling or emotional feeling. I have male organs, but I feel like a female. Your feeling, you can deal with it with a psychologist, but Islam defines a person by their sexual organs, because male and female relates to the sexual organs, period. So if a person has sexual organs for a female, she is a female, okay? Of course, there are people who could have bisexual composition. Some cases they are clear, some cases they are not, and those are the exceptions. So I'm not going to go into how to deal with those, even though it is simple, but I don't want to divert from the topic we are here. So as men and women, we should never discriminate against each other. We should never gang against each other. When sisters or brothers meet, we should never make it a subject of laughter. To laugh about women, oh, they do this, oh, they don't do this. Laugh about men, oh, I know you do this, I know my husband also. All of these kinds of discussions are really very negative. It does not produce something positive. So the basic message here, discrimination is not only to undercut somebody's rights, but to undercut somebody their chance of succeeding for who they are, males or females. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَلَا تَتَمَنَّوْا مَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ بَعْضَكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Do not wish something that you don't have that Allah has given someone else. You're created as a male, take it as is. You're created as a female, take it for what it is. You're created as a bisexual, let the doctors sort your sex out. And if they end up confused themselves, accept what you are and who you are. That's something Allah created you with. And by the way, the point I'm making, bringing those side issues in, is the fact that Islam does not discriminate against people who are created in other than a clear male or a clear female. So if a person is created with bisexual organs, that's my brother or my sister, and I deal with them for who they are. I respect them. I respect their rights. I protect their rights as members of my community, as members of my society. And this is a far-fetched issue from the issue of homosexuality or anything else. This is a far issue from sex change surgeries and all of this. These are separate issues, and they are not the topic for my subject today. So I'm not going to get into more details on this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also in Surah Al-Imran says, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ أَنِّي لَا أُضِيعُ عَمَلَ عَامِلٍ مِّنكُمْ مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى. Now Allah is telling us that whether you are a male or female, you do something good, your good deed is never wasted. And this is a hint for us that we should support and work for equal pay for equal work, so that women are not 70% paid or 30% less paid than a man. This should not be in a Muslim community or in any society for that matter. If Allah treats us equally the same, we should treat each other equally the same. Very, very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in terms of marital relationship and the relationship between a man and a woman, He says, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. For them are similar rights and duties to what is on them of duties. To tell us they have duties and we have duties. They have rights and we have rights. Those rights are mostly joint, but some rights are separate. So only the females have the right to be the mothers because they are the only ones who can be a mother. And the father has to be the father because he cannot be the mother. He cannot be pregnant. I don't know what's coming in the next few years, but so being who you are has to be accepted. Being who she is, she has to accept it. And you have to work together to define what Islam gives each side of rights and responsibilities. This is how we live together, defining the lines of engagement and working to achieve each other's rights before we demand our own rights at the expense of the rights of the other side. So Allah is telling us that a male and a female are rewarded the same. Their work is never wasted. And this is repeated in Surah Al-Imran and Nisa and Nahl and many other surahs as well. So I will cross over this point and move to the next point. And this is seemingly the last point in the lecture, which is the Prophet ﷺ made a statement saying, النساء شقائق الرجال. Shaqa'iq means not exactly partners, but equals. Because الشق والشقيق, الشقيق is your full brother or sister. You say أخ شقيق, أخت شقيقة, full equal. They are children of one and the same couple, one and the same parent set. Okay? So they are equal because they are children on the same level. So الشقيق is the equal one. So are women equal to men? Yes, they are. That's what the Prophet is saying, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only difference is women become pregnant and deliver babies, men do not, period. That's the only difference. So now, women could say, this is an advantage. You should respect me more than you respect your brother. And Islam says we should all respect each other. But if you really could agree, which is a reasonable reason to put, that while men cannot become pregnant and deliver children, men can, right? Women can. And at the same time, while men could work and earn their living, Islam does not prohibit women from working and earning their living. But they are not required to work for food. Their work is extra. Why? Their parents should take care of their needs, their husband should take care of their needs, and the formula is known to mostly all of us. So where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where the Prophet says, النساء شقائق الرجال ما أكرمهن إلا كريم وما أهانهن إلا لئيم. No one honors women but an honorable person, and no one demeans them except one who is demeaning himself. No one disrespects them except one who is disrespectful for himself. So these are the guidance of Islam that should bring peace into one of the most critical relationships in any society. The family roots, the father and the mother, the husband and the wife. So the explanation of the hadith is, شقائق الرجال means they are equals, they are their equals. And as I mentioned before, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, they have responsibilities and rights like the ones they have on themselves of duties. The extension of that is, or the completion of that is, وَلِلرِّجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةً. Men do have a degree above women. What is this degree? It is the degree of responsibility to take care of the family, the responsibility of leadership, the responsibility to provide, to protect, to educate, to entertain, to give them all what they need. As they enjoyed all of these provisions in their family before marriage, in the marriage they should get at least the same or more. At least the same or more. So they all come from one root, from one soul, and they come with similar qualities, attitudes, characteristics. We are all humans. We all love one and the same. We all love to be respected. We all love to be cared for. We all love to be served. We all love to be provided for. We all love to be pampered, if you will. We all love this, men and women. And we get it from our childhood. So one should not stereotype the other because we all love the same things. Okay? So those similar qualities are not everything. There are other qualities that are different because of the different physiological makeup. Our physical makeup as men is a little bit different from the physical makeup of women. And you know the details, there's no need for me to go over this, but briefly said, men don't have wombs, they don't have monthly period, they don't have to become pregnant, and so on and so forth. And that influences the hormonal makeup inside the physical body of the woman, and it affects her emotions, and psychological well-being, especially during bleeding times, whether it is a monthly period or postpartum bleeding or during pregnancy. Women need more and better care and more sensitivity than all other times. I'm saying this because among the audience here are people who are not married yet, so I wanted to give them the hint that you do not treat your wife when you get married like your roommate. She is not your roommate. She's your wife. You need to understand the huge difference. So they have common qualities and attributes and characteristics. They have different qualities for functional reasons that Allah instituted in each side. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave some women qualities that are better than some men, and some men better qualities than some women. So this is something about being a human, but it does not affect our relationship as males and females, as husbands and wives, as father and mother. All of the differences are related to the issue of motherhood and fatherhood, okay, and to the rights and responsibilities between the two as husbands and wives. Okay, I will summarize with one last point to make. As Allah told us, He created us from one soul. He created us from a male and a female. He created us from dust, from clay, from this, from that. We mentioned all of this. He also tells us if He had willed it, He would have made us as one community. The whole humanity could have been one color, one language, one tongue, one culture, one customs. It would have been very boring, but He can and could have done it. So He deliberately made us different, because this is what makes life fun, that you meet different people. Go to Dallas airport or come to Al-Hijrah and you will see about 20 nationalities among us, okay? So this is a wealth and a treasure that we should cherish and appreciate and not use it for hating or focusing on the differences. Benefit from the differences. And actually, as Allah tells us in Surah Hud, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسَ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً. If Allah had willed, He would have made humanity one ummah, one community. He tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah, كَانَ النَّاسُ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً. People were created initially as one ummah. Adam did not breed or beget, communities. He got few children, and then those children started to get married and so on and so forth. And then they formed communities of different colors and different tongues and so on and so forth. So in the beginning, we were all one community, all children of Adam, direct children of Adam. And the Quran keeps talking to us as children of Adam, Ya Bani Adam. So we have to heed that call and respect all of this. So the summary here is, Allah calls us Ya Ayyuhan Nas, O mankind. Ya Bani Adam, O children of Adam. We created you from turab, dust. We created you from mud. We created you from salsalin min hama'in masnoon, which is something like what do you call pottery, okay? And we all are created as ignorant creatures. We are all created in weakness. We all have the same weakness. Physically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, we all have weaknesses. We have to recognize those. We are all humans, بشر. فإذا هم بشر ينتشرون من نفس واحدة, one soul, ذكر وأنثى, as we mentioned, شقائق الرجال, أمة واحدة. Why am I listing all of this? Because these are the reasons we need to share with our neighbors and friends to tell them we have no foundation for discrimination. Now, some people would say, what about people who are of different faith? We are told in the Quran how to deal with them. Okay? We are told to give peace to those who give you peace and push back against those who attack you. Period. That's the summary of the whole relationship. فَمَا اسْتَقَامُوا لَكُمْ فَاسْتَقِيمُوا لَهُمْ. If they treat you nicely, treat them nicely. If they don't, separate, go away, and if they attack you, push back. That's the whole summary of how to relate to people who could be different in different ways other than what we mentioned. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us understand our faith and help us apply it. Jazakumullah khair. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Brothers and sisters, as you know that the Eid is coming, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it a blessed Eid for everybody. Dar al-Hijrah could receive your sacrifice or your request for a sacrifice that you are willing to give it all of it to the poor. If you want to keep any part of it, then Dar al-Hijrah will not be able to help with that. The lamb will cost $199. And also there is a program, Toys for Kids, for this Eid. We know that we have many families whose kids may not get toys unless we provide it. So toys for ages 3 to 12, those toys will cost $15 a piece. So if you want to donate to this, which we encourage you to do, please leave your donation with the office before you go. Don't put it in the box not knowing where it goes. Put it in with the office, inshallah. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقوتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا وإذا أردت بقومنا فتنة فنجنا منها يا مولانا غير خزايا ولا مفتونين ولا مبدلين ولا مغيرين اللهم لا تدع لنا في يومنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا فقيرا إلا أغنيته ولا سائلا إلا أعطيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين أجمعين وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين أجمعين وانصر عبادك المجاهدين في كل مكان اللهم انصر المظلومين في كل مكان اللهم عليك بالظالمين في كل مكان اللهم أحسن ختامنا واغفر ذنوبنا واستر عيوبنا وأمتنا على كلمة التوحيد على كلمة لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فستذكرون ما أقول لكم وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد وأقم الصلاة.